Welcome back to Turning Point Tonight, where we are charting the course of America's cultural comeback. My name is Jobob. Thanks so much for sticking with us. It is now time to check in with Turning Point's White House correspondent, Monica Page, at the White House. Monica, thanks for joining us. So the big thing, not the big thing, there's many big things going on all the time over there in D.C., but the thing that I've been keeping my eye on is J.D. And Usha Vance, Vice President, Second Lady of the United States, are off to Greenland, or in Greenland now. Can you kind of talk about the dynamics there going on? Now, a lot of people are making a big fuss about, whoa, the United States and Greenland. But in reality, there are some real world consequences. The New York Times had a big piece about the ice caps melting. And if they're right, and that's true, okay, well, that opens up shipping lanes, which means Russia and China have easier access to each other, so we probably should have a presence there. I know I'm throwing a lot at you right now, but you need to kind of talk about the administration and their whole push to make Greenland friendly to the United States.
Sure. Well, of course, thanks so much for having me, as always. Well, the Trump administration is really looking to capitalize on Greenland, as Greenland is known for not only rare earth minerals, but also, like you just mentioned, the icebergs are melting over there, which is in turn opening up shipping lanes and shipping ports, which could in turn benefit the United States for shipping and trade. So, of course, Second Lady Usha Vance was set to go solo, but the leader of Greenland didn't really seem too thrilled about her going. So now the vice president, her husband, is accompanying her on this trip. So now they're both going to be there together. They have landed this afternoon. They're there right now, hosting a number of meetings, taking a number of tours on various different sites. And you not only have these shipping ports that are going to be beneficial for the United States if they can get to an agreement, but you also have the rare earth minerals, which could also be used as a trade deal between the United States and Greenland. But you also have a missile defense system as well, which is
Mhm.
great for our national security as well, and as well as Greenland's. So by teaming up and kind of pushing and forging ahead with this partnership that could come to fruition, I think it could be very beneficial to the United States. And it would be interesting to see if Greenland wants to come to the table and make a deal with the United States. So by having a presence there, we'll see how the meetings go and how the tour goes. I know that the president is very enthusiastic about Greenland and occupying it, as well as trying to make Canada our 51st state as well, and also the Panama Canal, occupying that as well. So definitely going to be interesting these next couple weeks to see how things develop.
Yeah, I'd love to get your take more on the Canada thing, but first, I feel like what
Mhm.
people need to know about Greenland, especially all the libs that are up in arms about it, is the United States is trying to make a partnership in a very cordial manner. They don't get that opportunity if Russia decides they want Greenland or China decides they want Greenland. The best case scenario, if it is in fact that Greenland is a conduit to one of the biggest major trade routes with the Arctic Ocean opening up, the United States is going to be the one who's going to do it the most peacefully and the best, especially if you're looking at it relative to how China or Russia would handle it. But anyways, very quickly, the whole 51st state thing in Canada, it kind of started off as an offhanded joke with Trudeau and Trump at Mar-a-Lago. It has now blossomed into a big thing that the lib media is like, can you believe they still want to do this? First of all, is it still a joke in the White House? And like again, I kind of think it's still funny, but at the same time, like right, if they do want to, make that happen, I feel like President Trump could make it work.
Yeah, I mean, it's a funny little dynamic, especially in the press briefing room when any reporter asks the question about Canada, and the press secretary Caroline Levitt, says, "Oh, you mean our 51st state?" So that dynamic, that half-hearted joking, half serious, it's it's a very lighthearted comment. It's a very lighthearted joke. But at the end of the day, if Canada really wanted to join and there could be a deal, President Trump is the kingmaker of deals. So something could happen. I mean, we know that the United States is getting ready to implement the tariffs on April 2nd, as we know. That's what
Mhm.
President Trump dubs as Liberation Day for America. And he's huge on Made in America vehicles, Made in America products, and really, hitting hard on these tariffs internationally. So, if Canada wants to come to the table and make a deal with the United States involving products or trade, whatever it may be, I'm sure that they could work something out. But like you mentioned, Joe Bob, I mean, the United States and the Trump administration is very good at doing things very peacefully in a peaceful manner and making sure that both sides benefit at the end of the day and coming to this agreement. So it'll be, it's something that I think could come to the table sooner rather than later. We're definitely keeping our eyes on Canada for sure.
Yeah, definitely a fun one to keep an eye out for. Monica Page, Turning Point's White House correspondent. Thanks so much for joining us, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, you too, Joe Bob.
Thank you. Now, we've talked a lot about libs and who's going to be in charge and who's going to be the main lib coming through, especially in the next presidential in 2028. And one of the people that we've been keeping our eyes on a lot, not because she makes a lot of sense, but because she's easy to mock, is Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett. Now, I want to bring our panel back in here because Jasmine Crockett, in my opinion, has crossed many lines, but more specifically crossed a line when talking about Governor Greg Abbott, who's a fantastic governor of Texas, and also happens to be in a wheelchair. Let me play you this clip of Congresswoman Crockett saying some things that I just thought this was super out of bounds. Watch this.
Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now. And the only thing hot about him is that he is a hot ass mess, honey.
Look, I think we can all agree you can make fun of people's ideas, thoughts, what they say, but when it comes to immutable characteristics, like, you know, the fact that he's disabled and can't walk, that seems so below the belt. Having said that, here's how Governor Abbott responded. If we can pull that clip up here, somebody put him in an X-Men costume, and he said, "Yeah, I got to add this to my resume. I also need the outfit. They see me rolling." Which is, I think, exactly the way you respond to that sort of thing. Hey, Matt, so, you know, we all fun and games, right? But at a certain point, especially if you vehemently dislike someone like Jasmine Crockett does for Governor Abbott, it seems out of bounds. And you know, is this the appropriate way for conservatives to respond to, well, what was the Michelle Obama thing? When they go low, we go high, which seems to be what we're doing now.
Yeah, well, okay, so as a comedian, I have maybe a unique take on it. When it comes to jokes, I often lean on the side of jokes are just jokes. However, you can also kind of picture, you know, what this would look like, you know, if that were said by Donald Trump about someone, or if it were said by Elon Musk about someone, you know, so there's that. I think the governor responded in probably the best way possible. But it was almost like in the clip when she says it, like you can just, like in your mind's eye, you can see the people that are just off stage going,
oh, yeah.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. Yeah, I think jokes are jokes, but the problem with this particular situation is she's not joking. She genuinely does not like him, which, you know, that's not cool. Paula, Matt brought up I think is a good point, like the whole shoe on the other foot thing. Like, could you imagine if President Trump was this overt about attacking someone based on nothing other than characteristics that they can't help? Like, that not cool. Your thoughts?
I mean, yeah, they're always calling people ableists and like age, whatever, you know, they're coming up with whatever the new word is. But I think what's so funny is, I'm not sure if you guys saw her response to it. So she tried to say that she meant Hot Wheels in the terms of transportation is bad. And did anyone else see this? Transportation is bad in Texas. That was what she claims that she was talking about. I like, you know, it's the gaslighting strategy, again, that the Democrats always use to try to say, I didn't say that. I didn't mean that. It had nothing to do with the fact that he was in a wheelchair. What else would she be referring to calling him
I think that's what we call a stretch.
Right? Yeah. Seriously, I did not.
I know they don't have brain cells, but I'm not that dumb. Like I can read through this, and this is just nobody's buying that.
That is interesting. I actually didn't see that. But yeah, that is a stretch. It reminds me of, I don't know if you all saw this, but in the NPR hearings, I believe it was Congressman Brandon Gill asked the CEO of NPR, hey, you tweeted, white people should pay reparations? And she's like, well, I didn't mean monetary reparations. I just meant, you know, observing what we have all benefited from. Like, yeah, I don't think that's what you meant by that one, but nice try, lady. You know, the kind of changing topics entirely. Doge, we've talked about this pretty much endlessly. A lot of support from the American people in terms of canceling money that shouldn't be going places, taxpayer dollars, and saving taxpayer dollars. Elon Musk and his team did an interview with Brett Baer A lot of stuff in that whole interview. You can watch the whole thing on X if you'd like, but I thought this was the most fascinating clip. Brett Baer asks, hey, what's the most egregious thing that you've seen so far? And this was Elon's answer. Play that clip.
You know, for example, like the simple survey that was literally 10-question survey that you could do with SurveyMonkey, cost you about $10,000, was the government was being charged almost $1 billion for that.
For just the survey?
$1 billion for a simple online survey, do you like the national park? And then there appeared to be no feedback loop for what would be done with that survey. So the survey would just go into nothing.
So to characterize that, we spent 1,000,000% more than we probably should have on a survey that, one, in my opinion, didn't matter. Like, people like the national parks. Do we really need a survey for that? And two, didn't actually go anywhere. Like, there were no real results and they didn't kind of go anywhere. Matt, how much would you charge the federal government for conducting a similar survey if it were up to you?
I wouldn't be smart enough to ask them for money. It's really that simple. Like, well, you want to know if they like the national parks? Hey, Joe, you like national park? Yeah, Joe likes them. And what's fascinating is, the backlash to the whole idea of making the government more efficient. And I ask these people, is like, are you against government efficiency or are you just against Elon Musk? Because I feel like it kind of leans towards the latter there, because really it's like we all have those apps, or I have an app that tells me like, hey, you subscribe to HBO Max, you never watch it, stop paying for it. And I feel like that's just what Elon's doing for the country, is like, hey, America, you have too many streaming services, you don't need them all. So
Yeah, it feels like a very bipartisan issue when it comes to, like, we don't want to just light money on fire, Paula, but for some reason, this type of stuff, Elon saying, hey, we paid $1 billion for something that should have cost 10 grand. That's kind of a problem. That sort of thing has made people burn Teslas, point guns at people who work at Tesla dealerships, throw Molotov cocktails into showrooms. Like, what is going on?
This whole thing, I want to laugh first at this $10 billion thing, but my money, your money, all of our money went to that. Like, that's what our money went to. And the entire government, I think what we're realizing is a giant money laundering scheme. I'm sorry, how are you spending $1 billion on this? This has got to be money laundering. They're better than the cartels down in Mexico. It's a scam. And what we found by this is the entire scam has been run by Democrats doing this. And that's why they're holding on to this so much, because all they've had is the bureaucracy that they have going on here. I don't even know what to do. I'm grateful for Elon Musk for even doing all of this, but what? And they are defending it because they have something to hide.
Yeah, that seems to be exactly what is going on. But what it sounds like to me is that Paula, Jobob, Matt, and co. needs to charge the next Lib president half of that. We'll charge $500 million for the survey that doesn't go anywhere, as long as the check clears. Maybe we'll be cool with that.
I can make a great survey.
Yeah, there you go.
For that money, I can make a wonderful 10-question survey.
Matt, Paula, thank you so much for joining us. Awesome panel today. Would love to have you back. Coming up next, a culture apothecary clip that you're not going to want to miss, and also that whole who is the right person to be poking the bear when it comes to the whole signal gate, or at least that's what the libs are saying. Is it the right person? Are the libs putting up the right person for it? I don't actually think so. All that and more coming up after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.